Hello, everybody. This is Martha Alter Hines with Verena Borell, and we are making this video today to talk together about our sense of the energies of the upcoming new moon in Aquarius and then the full moon in Leo. And I previously made a long video about my sense of the new moon in Aquarius and some corresponding other things going on in the sky on that day, which many of you I think have already seen, but if you haven't, please feel free to watch that. And so today I would love to hear, Verena, your perspective on the new moon, and then we're going to also tie in the energies of that full moon and a couple of other things that are really calling to us. So
yeah,
everybody.
yeah. Welcome to the video too from my side. And first of all, I highly recommend watching Martha's video about the new moon in Aquarius. And when you are speaking German, I have already recorded a podcast episode for my podcast in German language, which is called Mercury Dreams, and is available on all podcast platforms about the new moon too. So if you're German speaking, you are invited to listen to this, I think, 1 hour episode about the new moon in Aquarius. But yes, my take on is very similar to your approach, Martha. And I think the new moon really sets the focus around the connection between our physical body and our higher consciousness, and the connection between, so we have one day after the new moon in Aquarius, the ruling planet of Aquarius, Uranus, stations direct. Then we have this connection that asteroid Eros is in conjunction to the galactic center. What is going on there too? Yeah, and the whole new moon is on this 1 degree Aquarius, so this really potent degree. And we know that Pluto will enter Aquarius in March too, and will stay on 0 degree. So I have this feeling around this new moon that it's like an invitation, it's like an initiation, it's like a preparation for something new. And for me, it feels very much like during Capricorn season. So the new moon happens at the beginning of Aquarius season. So just, I think, 2 days after the sun enters Aquarius, or 1 day after the sun enters Aquarius. And during Capricorn season, for me, there was an overarching energy and theme around deconditioning. So becoming aware of conditionings, becoming aware of areas in our life where we still stick to outdated rules and maybe to societal standards that are not in alignment with our own truth. And for me, this whole topic around time is so alive. So finding your own pace, don't follow the rules of meritocracy and patriarchal standards, but really allowing yourself to come back to this more original and grounded earth yin energy of Capricorn, trusting your body, finding your own pace, trusting the rhythm of the earth, trusting your own heartbeat. And with this energy, we now come into Aquarius, and Aquarius is intellectual. It's an air sign. It's a young energy, but it's also connected with the divine intelligence of the cosmos. So, and I have this feeling that after deconditioning in Capricorn, we now, with this Aquarian new moon, we really start to explore our own wave, our own frequency, our own melody. It's really like, okay, I got rid of everything that is holding me tight and that does not allow myself to breathe. And now I can breathe, and now I can trust, and now I can find my own melody and my own flow. And I have the feeling that there's this overarching energy from the Aquarius new moon, which really feels like an invitation and like a preparation and like exploring your own frequency and your own melody. And then 2 weeks later, at the Leo full moon, you are able to sing it and you are able to live it. And you step into this energy and you discover that you do not only have your own frequency and your own melody, but that you can create songs with that you can create your life. And it feels very grounded and very related to the rhythm of the earth. So everything you said in the new moon video. So when I'm saying that you discover your own frequency and your own not only your own pace, but also your own flow, Aquarius, feels very much like remembering your original flow and your original what you are here for. And in Aquarius, it is about your soul's isness before any conditioning. And this soul's isness, this pure essence of the soul, is in alignment with the intelligence of the cosmos. When you flow in your own frequency, you are fulfilling and filling the place that you have in this divine structured universe. And I think in Aquarius, during the Aquarius new moon, we get a sense of that. What is our natural frequency in alignment with the songs of the universe? And then during the Leo full moon, we really have the courage to sing it. And of course, with that come many fears, but I will leave it here and give it over to you.
That is amazing. And I want to ask you a question about that in a second. I would love to hear, well, here's my question, and then I'll say some stuff, and then we can come back to this question. But I would love to hear a little more from you about your perspective on the Leo Aquarius polarity, because I think it's going to be so alive for us, right? As Pluto especially enters Aquarius, the Pluto polarity point will be in Leo. And anyway,
and the Venus cycle will be in Leo.
Yes, right. Exactly. There you go. Right. Yeah. So much. Yeah. And anyway, this whole balancing of the Leo Aquarius energy, I think let's talk about that in a second, because that is huge. And what you're saying is so beautiful with regard to all of that. Just to come back to the Aquarius and Uranus stuff. One thing I said to you before we started recording, that I'm feeling so strongly in my own body, I would say starting last night, actually. So we're recording this on Wednesday. What day is it? January 18th. So this morning, my time, I'm in California, Mercury went direct, and Uranus is about to go direct next Monday. So when I think about, planets going direct, especially a planet like, let's say, Uranus in particular, or going retrograde, or suddenly there being a shift, it's easy to feel scared. It's easy to wonder, what's going to happen now? And then I get brought back to the reality, specifically with Uranus in particular. It's fine, because any shift that happens with Uranus, again, in particular, is just realigning us with who we are already, which is the intelligence of the divine, period, the end. And like I told you before we started recording, a year and a half ago in August of 2021, when Uranus, the exact day that Uranus went retrograde, actually at 14 degrees Taurus, where it's going to be going direct, it's the same point. I had a really not pleasant personal relationship experience. It was not good. I should say it felt really bad in the moment, right? And I look back at it, and even in the moment when it was happening, I recognized, oh, I got it. Like, this is happening because it's bringing me back into what's actually in alignment with me, with the intelligence of the divine, which is me. And that thing that I thought I wanted to be a particular way wasn't, and I knew it wasn't in alignment. So when the shift occurred, it just instantaneously brought me back into alignment. It felt painful, but it was how it needed to be. And so I also think about with that, a lot of the time when there's moments where we have decisions to make, I love something that one of our teachers is Ari Moshe Wolf, both of us. So one thing that Ari says is there are no decisions, or there are no choices, something like, there's just the truth, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I think about that so often. It's not about really choosing X versus Y. It's really about coming back a lot of the time. I don't want to say always, but for speaking for me, what actually ends up being true for me is that if I'm trying to make a decision, it's really about me coming back into myself, taking a deep breath and feeling. I can feel it in me when I get in alignment with myself as earth and as the divine. I can see, and I can feel in my body, and I can see visually what's in alignment and what's not. And maybe X is in alignment, or maybe Y is in alignment, or maybe some Z or Q happens, I suddenly realize is actually what's in alignment. So it's not even about making a choice. It's just recognizing what's true. And so I feel like the energetic of these transits, again, like you and I both believe, it's not about them doing something to us. It's about actually our soul having an opportunity to realign. That's the intention behind it. And I've felt that over and over and over again in my own life. So I love what you're saying about this Aquarian energy being about us finding that frequency of the intelligence of the divine that is uniquely our song. And one of the books that I've channeled is called Gaia Speaks. And that whole book is all about the fact that we are a divine song. That's literally what it's about. So yes, yes. Your turn.
I love everything what you're saying, and I would actually love to dig a little bit deeper into some of what you said by looking at the chart of the full moon. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can look at the full moon chart together, because there's something around what you said with the aligned decision making.
You said the new moon, right?
The full moon, maybe. The full moon. Yeah, but we can afterwards look at the new moon too. So, because I look at my notes and on the chart, yes, to the full moon, the point what I wanna deepen is we have Venus in Pisces squaring Mars in Gemini, and Mars in Gemini is building a trine to the sun in Aquarius. It's too wide an orb for a sextile to the moon, but a trine to the sun. And I have this feeling, what you said, because I actually literally have written down to the full moon, to this Venus square Mars and Sun trine Mars, heart aligned actions and decision making. So I think it's really not only about, so the new moon feels really like this orientation. So, okay, wait a second. Now that I let go of all these old patterns, what is my frequency? And I can just feel my own frequency, and I can just feel my own pace when I am feeling into my body. It's not something that I can mentally figure out. And I think Uranus, Aquarius ruler Uranus in Taurus, in Earth and Yin sign, is teaching us exactly that you cannot figure it out when you're up in the clouds and just ahead, or just in your upper chakras. You can just figure out what is really your tune, your melody, and what is natural to you as a soul that has incarnated on planet Earth in a body. So when we would not be on planet Earth and just souls in other dimension, it's not the same way. But we are now here on planet Earth and in this body, and because of that, and that was the decision of our soul, that is what I think, it's connected. So we must connect with our body and have our feet on the ground and feel the rhythm of the earth to explore what is really natural for us. And during the Aquarius new moon, and that is something that we can really practically do, it's like an orientation, feeling into the different areas of our life. Are we in our natural flow? Does it feel natural to us? Is it in alignment, in tune with our soul frequency? So it's like an orientation. And then when the full moon is in Leo, with this Venus, Mars, Sun thing, it's really about this stepping not only in your own frequency and what I already said, exploring yourself of creators of your own life, singing your own melody with a courageous heart, and loudly into the world, but really exploring or discovering ourselves as creators of our life and the new earth. And I think that then this idea around heart-aligned decisions with Venus and Mars, the leading edge of our soul's evolution, and the lower octave of Pluto. And that becomes a new dimension, I think, and an Aquarian flavor. So our Leo heart becomes then an Aquarius flavor, because when and maybe we can talk together about this Leo Aquarius axis, because I have this feeling when we have the courage, the courageous heart to really sing our own melody, then we contribute to the symphony of the earth, of the universe, of the whole. And then we are really taking our part and really be in service for the collective. And that is Aquarius. And this tune that we have on that place that we have, that is in constant evolution as the collective. And when you listen to a symphony, there are different themes and topics, and they are flowing, they are in constant evolution, but it's every time in harmony. And I think there is something around this Aquarius Leo polarity that is really about when you are you, and when you are really seeing your specialness, then you are exactly this part that humankind, that the world, and that the universe, that the whole cosmos needs.
Yeah. You know, what's coming to me about that is my teenager is my almost 16-year-old, which is insane. They're very into choir. So they're, really, 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 that's like their life right now is theater and choir. And they have a very powerful, a very powerful voice that can be very loud and that can like overpower other people, right? And last year when they first got really into choir, at the first couple of concerts, I couldn't really hear their voice at all. And I was like, what is going on? Because normally they're very, very loud. So I asked them about it, and they said, Yeah, well, what I learned actually is that it doesn't serve the group if I'm loud. I said, wow, okay. I wish all adults knew that in themselves, especially people who have been identified and raised as boys, which my almost 16-year-old has been, right? So it's very, and white, highly intellectual, highly articulate, privileged people raised as males. It's very, very easy, but for any of us of any gender, it's very easy for us to think that the right way to be is the Leo who shines and is, front and center on stage, which can sometimes serve a purpose, but I'm getting, like, as I'm even hearing you, I'm getting it. Yeah, the balance between the Leo and the Aquarius is to have the courage to not be scared to be seen, to not be scared to fully shine and come out, but then also to learn how to blend into the symphony of the whole, all of existence, right? So that your song can flow with the song of everything. Not so you get lost. Like that's one thing I actually talked to my 16-year-old or almost 16-year-old about is I said, okay, I love that you're feeling that. That's amazing. That's like a life lesson, actually. And I actually think you're also doing a disservice. Like, I think you've swung a little too far on the pendulum swing. I think if I could hear the richness of your voice a little more, it would actually serve the choir the best. Like, I think there's a happy medium there somewhere. And then so over the next several months, like, that's exactly where they're getting, is just to this point of, I can hear their voice and it doesn't overpower, and they know when to kind of modulate it, and go with the subtleties of what's needed. So yeah, that just to me sums it up.
I love that, Martha, and it reminds me of something that is very important that I maybe should add to what you said and what I said, because when I say sing your song loudly with a courageous heart, I mean sing your song. So be you, and when it's natural for you to be very quiet, to be very in your zone, and to be very introvert, then this is exactly your loud song. So it's really not, I don't want to bring the image of the Leo archetype as always on stage. And I don't mean that. I really mean your specialness can be being a super, super calm, introvert person, and then this is exactly your melody. And then maybe the deconditioning means to let go of the idea that you have to perform, and that you are very invited to be that introvert person and to serve in that way. So that is what I mean with Leo's song, or with Leo's specialness, or with, it's really about, and that is nothing that somebody outside can tell you. That is nothing that a teacher or a guide or even a mentor can tell you. That is just something that you can feel. And I think that when we have this often in Leo, and I really want to look at the shadow or the more wounded sides between Leo and Aquarius, because we have at this full moon Uranus and Taurus in a square to the moon and the sun. And
on the full moon. So that one, we have Uranus.
The full moon is in 15-degree Taurus, and we have the sun and the moon in 60-degree Leo and Aquarius. And when we take even a wider degree, we have a grand fixed cross between Uranus, North Node in Taurus, South Node in Scorpio, Sun in Aquarius, and Moon in Leo. Because I think it's important to look at this square to Uranus. Uranus is not only about the high intelligence of the cosmos, but it's also about our long-term memory. And because of that, about trauma, maybe even from past lives, that is maybe stuck in our Taurus body.
Mm.
And I have this feeling that there can come this, maybe this fears around, but when I am being myself, when I show up, Leo, in an authentic Aquarius way, maybe and then all of these Taurus fears can come up. I will not earn any longer money because society will not accept me. I will be rejected within my relationships. All of these old fears might show up. And I think that this maybe wants to show us that there is something inside of us that needs healing. And that around this full moon, which is, as you already said, the transits and astrology is always indicative. It just shows something that is in the field. It's not doing something with us. So maybe it's a phase within our personal life and within the collective where it's really important to maybe step a little bit back from our upcoming fears. So this Aquarian objectivity. So the sun in Aquarius is the resolution node, or yeah, we don't talk about nodes there, but yeah, I have the feeling the sun in Aquarius can help us to step a little bit back from our fears, to look at them with compassion, and maybe to heal our heart, Leo, heal our body, Taurus, and find maybe new and creative ways to create and cultivate a new life that is in alignment with truth, with unity consciousness, with the earth, with our soul, with our body. That came up for me because not only because of Uranus squaring the nodes, but also because of this wider square to the south node in Scorpio, which is, I think, so much about deep repressed fears that we are in this healing and purging process since the whole last year. And I feel that around this Leo full moon, when we maybe have this urge to now do it, and now take the decisions, Mars is now direct. All planets are direct. So not the asteroid, but all planets are direct to this full moon in Leo. And there might be some fear showing up, and it might be important to look at that, don't repress it, and to really calm down our nervous system and bring some healing. And it might be the case that on a mental level, Aquarius, and even on a spiritual level, we have already resolved these fears and we understand them, but that they show up on a somatic level with the earth sign of Taurus. But yeah, I'm actually very curious what you think about that.
Yeah, well, that starts to tie in a bunch of other stuff that I wanted to talk about today. And I also am wanting to say that, you know, as at this point, by the full moon, the nodes are within less than 10 degrees of squaring Pluto. So I feel the energetic of Pluto squaring the nodes already starting to come into the the field. Yeah. And the other thing that's like, not only is this full moon essentially squaring the node, it's a wide orb, like you said, but it's in the field of squaring the nodes. But also I see Black Moon Lilith is definitely squaring the nodes, and Black Moon Lilith is in Leo. So to me, that energy also mirrors what you're saying, that we maybe have had parts of ourselves that we have ostracized or pushed away, specifically with regard to this Leo energy. and our creative life force energy, what we're here to be and fully shine as that flower, the unique flower that we are, that's so needed on the planet. And so we kind of have this choice point, you know, like where we have this opportunity to reclaim the power of that and the need of that, and maybe to release some of the shadow or the shame we might have, or the fear, or whatever it is. And then I just also want to bring in the energetic that I'm feeling so strongly around Eros with all of this. So in that long video about the new moon, I talked about how Eros is playing into the transits of that moment. But the other thing that I noticed just yesterday, starting to look into Eros a little more, is that as Pluto is getting closer and closer and closer to entering Aquarius, just for teeny bit, Eros also is heading toward being exactly conjunct Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius when Pluto enters Aquarius. So that is unbelievably powerful to me. Hygeia will also be not that close of a conjunction, but near to Pluto and Eros when Pluto enters Aquarius. And yeah, there's this deep call I'm feeling with all this Leo energy, with Venus going retrograde in Leo, and with Eros playing so strongly into all of this, that there's this healing, there's this re-embodying of available for what it actually is to be the creation life force of source itself. To me, that's what Eros is. I mean, there's many other layers there, but yeah, it's part of us being in our bodies. That North Node in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, is that we're also Eros. We're literally the quote unquote erotic energy of source. And that means sexuality, but it means so much beyond sexuality. And it mirrors to me the Leo energy too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could go on and on and on and on, but please.
Yeah, I really want to say something to Lilith and then to Eros. So because Lilith, and we have two different Liliths, and maybe at this point, I just want to say that Martha and I will hold a workshop series about the goddess, asteroids, and planetary bodies, and we will talk about that later. But we will also cover Lilith, and we will also a little bit discuss the differences between the different Liliths, because we have asteroid Lilith, as you see her here in 23-degree Virgo retrograde, and we have black moon Lilith, which you see here in 4-degree Leo. And this black moon Lilith, as you already said, Martha, is squaring the lunar nodes during the full moon in Leo and is direct. And during the new moon in Lilith, during the new moon in Aquarius, Lilith is in 1-degree Leo retrograde. And I have this feeling, and asteroid Lilith is in a trine during both full moon and new moon, in a trine to Pluto and Capricorn. And in a grand earth trine with Sedna in Taurus. And I want to talk about that later with you. But I try to focus on Lilith now, because you said so wonderful things about this energy. And I just want to add that when you don't know about the mythology of Lilith and her story, we will go into that in depth during our workshop series, but just the short version. So Lilith was the first wife of Adam in the paradise. So in this old Christian religious myth, and she did not want to lay under Adam when they had sex, and so Adam was very confused because she did not want to lay under him, and Adam went to God and said, God, Lilith is not doing what I want. And then there are two versions of the story. The first version is God said, okay, Lilith, then you have to leave paradise, the paradise garden. And the second version of the story, which I believe is very true, or is the original one, is that Lilith said, okay, my loves, I'm going. This is not my paradise when I must be inferior to my husband and I don't stick to the rules. So I leave paradise. And I think for me, Leo, this Lilith in Leo and Virgo Lilith retrograde is so much about standing up for yourself and really leaving seeming paradises that are just like golden handcuff or just like that are not real paradises, and Leo creating a new paradise, creating a new world. And I think that is so strong during this full moon in Leo, really this process of letting go of the old, finding your own frequency, finding your tribe as well. And I think we should talk about community with Leo and Aquarius too in a second. And really creating your paradise, a paradise that is in alignment with your truth and with the earth, and where there's no repression, no hierarchy, no inferior, superior, but really, this wonderful idea of a community. And here we are with Leo Aquarius, where everybody can sing their song, and where we empower and strengthen each other in our authenticity, and where it is not about being all the same or doing the same things, which is more like an elitism, but really about I shine the light on you and you shine the light on me, and everybody can live within their individual and authenticity and contribute to the whole.
Yeah. And one thing I just want to also say about the Lilith archetype, which is extremely strong in my own chart, my own life. It squares my Lilith, the asteroid, squares my natal nodes. Pluto has been sitting on my natal Lilith for the past few years. So this Lilith archetype for me is just so present in my life, even now. And one thing I have learned is that with that energy, sometimes that experience of leaving the paradise is a literal decision to leave a situation or leave a relationship or leave a whatever. And that has its place. And sometimes it's also not so much about leaving or ending something on the external. It's really about going through a process of, like you were talking about, finding that alignment that is you, the power that is you, the being in for me, Lilith being in Virgo in particular is about finding the power of yourself in your own, the temple that is you. So really honoring your own sovereign divinity and finding the power of yourself as that being of the divine that's equal to anybody and everybody. And what I've also found is that sometimes the Lilith energy is really inviting us just simply, not necessarily to make changes on the outside, although again, sometimes that's needed. Sometimes it's really just about finding that alignment in you, in me, and then the things outside of you either align with that or don't.
Yeah.
And so in my own personal life, I've had experiences lately where I come into that place in me and some very powerful energies around me and relationships or whatever just suddenly start to switch and to change. And suddenly they are in alignment with me being in alignment. Whereas 5 minutes ago, when I was out of alignment with my own power, my own sovereignty, it wasn't working for me, right?
Yeah.
But so it's not necessarily about me ending that thing. It's actually about me taking responsibility for my own power, stepping in, reclaiming, coming, in a sense, finding my own paradise, but then even choosing to come back to the original paradise, just with me different, me changed, me saying, in a sense, to Adam, I'm a full-fledged goddess. There's no way I'm going to be subservient to you. It's never going to happen. It's like, maybe in certain moments I will choose that. But if I choose that, it's me doing that with the complete power of all of existence, choosing to submit to the power of, you are the power of existence and I am the power of existence. And I might want to and choose to open to you in that way, but that's my decision as the power of existence. Because sometimes I maybe want to be open and vulnerable, but not because I'm being told to, right? Yeah. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, and Martha, I should think, and that we should definitely do during our workshop series, we should even think about a third version of the mythology where Lilith stays.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm.
Point. So we will discuss that in our workshop series. But I'm completely with you with this, that all of what I described before, that can be complete inner processes. So it does not mean that you always have to leave something. It's more about this reclamation, this inner reclamation. And to come back to the chart, I think it is very important, and I wanted to ask you how you see that. This grand Earth trine between asteroid Lilith in Virgo, Mercury and Pluto, especially Pluto in Capricorn, and Sedna retrograde in that's Sedna in Taurus, 28-degree Taurus, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And because what I'm feeling here is that with all of what we said together beforehand, this finding your frequency, singing your song, stepping more and more into creating your life, and with that a new world. And I feel that this whole Aquarius season is such a orientation phase for the whole Pluto and Aquarius cycle, in a way, this creation of a new world, a new life. That with that show up, there show up fears and maybe shame and guilt. So Virgo, Lilith in Virgo, this, but am I allowed to do that? I feel guilty when I'm doing that. Am I abandon people who I think I love or who I am connected with? So will I survive even these things around? So in my life, actually, I really much feel there's Capricornian lessons around time, and allow myself to not push so hard as meritocracy told us, but really allow myself more flow and ease. And with that comes the fear. Can I earn enough money? Will I survive in this society that we still live in? So, and I feel there is something around shame, guilt, fear that might show up. And what I not really have not yet really felt into is the connection with Sedna here. And I would actually love if you have any feelings around that. Yeah,
and Sedna is one of the last goddesses that we're going to do this year in our series. And I also haven't fully dropped into my sense of her. But one of the things that comes up for me with Sedna that's very powerful and very beautiful is the sense of her betrayal by her father, smashing her fingers. That's a whole story. we don't really have time for it today, but her father betrays her and essentially tries to kill her in order to save himself. And in that betrayal, Sedna then falls down into the ocean, and her fingers turn into ocean beings. So her betrayal by her father becomes this transformative experience where she then, I guess you could say, finds this new way of being as a magical creature of the ocean. And so it is similar to the Lilith energy in the sense that it's like this masculine, this toxic masculine who's betraying her or not honoring her. And then she goes and she finds herself in an underworld in the ocean and realizes that she's this beauty of existence, right? In a way that she would never have known if that betrayal hadn't happened. Okay, the betrayal should never have happened to begin with. I don't want to like give it permission, but right. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I love that because it feels so, everything that you just said completely is in alignment with what I felt, because for me, it's like alchemize your fear. Sometimes when old fears are showing up, it helps us create new things. So I think it's really about, so these fingers that are becoming new creatures. So it's really about, yes, having fear. Maybe there has been things that were not okay. And yes, we live in the world whereas so many things are not okay. Pluto in Capricorn. But maybe we can even alchemize our fear, and Leo create completely new ways of even looking at our own fears, find new creative ways of for things that are not working any longer, that are outdated. So really creating something new, very healing out of these cut off parts of ourselves and of the world and of the earth and of the whole system. And I mean, Sedna is ruled by Venus in Pisces, which comes closer to her conjunction with Neptune. And I think,
and Lilith, the asteroid, is opposite Neptune.
Thank you. Yes. So there is this connection between, finding new creative ways to live. That can mean in your very personal life, but on a collective level too, finding new creative ways to restructure our life so that it is more in alignment with truth, with the all that is in harmony. And
and there's a letting, and there's a letting go into the divine. I mean, Venus is even, coming into a conjunction with Neptune. It will conjunct Neptune. So it's in this balsamic relationship on this new moon to Neptune. So it's letting go into the arms of the divine, in a sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Cool. Anything else? That's feeling complete to me, but
for me too.
Nice. So let's talk briefly about our goddess series and other things we have coming up. So like you said, we're going to be doing this goddess series that's starting on next Tuesday, January 24th. And we're going to be focusing on one goddess per month. We're starting with Persephone, and then we're going to Ceres, and then Hecate, and then Hygeia. Those are the first four we're doing. And then we'll be doing a whole bunch of these other ones throughout the year, including Sedna, including Lilith, including Eros, Pandora, Estrella, which I did a talk on a couple of weeks ago, on and on and on. 12 altogether. And we're going to be starting, with each goddess near the new moon. we're having a workshop where we drop into that goddess, we learn about the mythology, the history, the sort of the left brain stuff, and then, but then mostly we also go into a channeled, guided experience of remembering what it is that we are, that goddess. So re-becoming Persephone, or re-becoming Ceres, or re-becoming Sedna as us, because we each are all of them. And then feeling what healing, transformation, wisdom is then coming through each of us as each of those goddesses. And then then we take a 2-week break, but we have an online forum where you can be sharing during that whole time. And then near the full moon of each month, then we have a sharing circle where we each in community get to share what's been alive for you around that particular goddess, like Persephone, that we're starting with, what's been coming up, how has it been changing your life or not changing your life, what wisdom is coming through you, what images, what maybe you've been painting, maybe you've been writing poetry, maybe you've been doing nothing, maybe it's just silence for you that month, whatever it is, because we feel really strongly, Verena and I both, that these goddesses are needing to come alive through each of us. And so this goddess series is an opportunity, is a container for that to happen. Do you want to say anything else about it?
Yeah, I just want to add that the title, Conversations with the Goddesses, it's really because it's not about we are telling you how the goddesses are, but it's really about, during this workshop, it's a little bit more that we let the goddesses speak through Martha and me. So you get input from us, and then in the channeled meditation, we let the goddess speak through us. But then in the sharing circle, the goddess speaks through me, through you, through every participant. And because Martha and I are really interested, or we think and we feel and we have experienced that all of these archetypes, not only the goddess archetypes, but all archetypes, are as individual as everybody of us. So I'm really excited to explore these goddess archetypes together with everybody who is part of this journey, and to share experiences. And so we learn from each other, and we connect with this deep, deep goddess wisdom that everybody has. And it's more about helping you gain access again to this deep wisdom of the goddesses.
Yes, definitely. And and it'll be, an intimate community feeling, very safe and nurturing. And that's a big part of our intention, is for it to feel like a really transformative opportunity for you, for your own journey, your own healing, and for you to help birth whatever this is that's needing to come through. So many of us have these goddesses speaking to us and speaking through us. And great. And what else do you have coming up that you want to share? Or
I want to share something more about the Conversations with the Goddesses. It's very, very important to mention that it is not just, the goddesses are completely independent from any gender identity, from any sexual identity, from your physical gender. So it's not about being a woman or something like that. So it's really, goddess energy is completely independent from your sexual identity, and really everybody is invited and is welcome. And we all play our special melody and contribute to the goddess melody and the goddess harmony and the goddess symphony that we create together. So it's really about that it should not be come across like it's something just for people who identify as women.
Right. Yeah. We welcome and celebrate people of all gender identities and all sexual orientations. And yes, please join us. We would love to.
And what's going on from me? Additionally, I have, for my, if you speak German, I have a video course a self-study course, which is called Astro Basics, which is really for you when you are fresh to astrology and when you want to learn the basic knowledge in astrology. And then I have an upcoming project in German language too, which is still a surprise, but it's very much in the goddess energy as well, and it's very much in an Aquarian energy as well. So I'm super excited about that actually. And the best way to learn more about that is to follow me on Instagram and to sign up for my email list. And yeah, I have, and that is not only for German speaking people, I have an email list in German and in English. So you are highly welcome to join my English email list. I put a lot of effort and love and devotion into my newsletter, and I really serve and nourish you with, I think, yeah, beautiful designed and nourishing emails about astrological transits, about the new moons, the full moons, but also about, I'm also working with the Akashic Records, so I share intuitive messages there too. So it's a good way to be in contact with me and to come into my little universe. And I'm offering also one-on-one sessions in English and in German language on the basic, my ground is evolutionary astrology, but it's very intuitive too. So I add a little bit Akashic Records into that too. So you are welcome to book your one-on-one evolutionary astrology / intuition session with me. Yeah, I think that's everything from my side.
Great. Yeah, and I also have an upcoming free talk on Eros that I'll be doing with EA Zoom on February 2nd, Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern time and very late for Europe. And then, so that's gonna be on February 2nd. And then following that on February 14th, which for anybody who's familiar with Valentine's Day, I'm going to be doing a workshop, a channeled workshop on Eros. So the free talk, I'll be talking about the basics of the archetype and the astrology of the asteroid Eros. And then in the workshop, I will do a little more of that, but it'll really also be about coming into our own, it'll be guided and channeled experience of feeling in our body and in our being what is Eros, what is that energetic, which again, essentially for me is the reality that we are beings of source. So, and that workshop is really about setting an intention that we can come back into a healed, the essence of what the Eros energy is, and maybe release some of the energies of trauma around sexuality. So it's not going to really be so much focused on sexuality, but it will be more about re-embodying the healing version of ourselves as beings of the energy of source. So I would love to have you there, February 14th, 10 a.m. Pacific, if you're interested in that. And I also do some one-on-one sessions. I have a little bit of availability for that, and lots and lots of other things, including my membership. So yeah, that's it for me at this exact minute.
There's another thing that just came up that I forgot to mention, but I was a little bit afraid to mention. I really feel called to do an talk on EA Zoom meetings, a free talk on EA Zoom meetings about the asteroid Lucifer.
Yes.
Because I feel so different with Lucifer, as everybody says, but I'm not yet sure when this will happen, but I think it will happen maybe around March. And because at the moment I'm finding my personal flow. But yes, there's something around, there's something coming up on EA Zoom meeting around Lucifer. And as always, stay connected with me via my newsletter list, and then you will learn more about that. Yes.
Yes. Oh, and one last thing, I will say more about this another time, but February 28th, I'm also going to be doing a workshop on the trauma-informed basics for astrologers. So my background largely was as a clinical social worker and psychotherapist, and I specialized in trauma treatment and prevention. So this is not a therapy workshop, but it's really giving tools for people who are astrologers or healers who haven't had that background as a therapist, but want to be able to address trauma in a safe way. Because I see that in the astrology world and in the healing world a lot, that people don't feel equipped, and actually it's very easy to address trauma in a way that's not safe. So I want to give people just the very, very basic do's and don'ts, so that's what that workshop is going to be on February 28th. And I'll say more about that in the future, but that already is up on Eventbrite and available. Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you so much, Verena. Thank you to everybody listening.
Thank you, Martha. Thanks, everybody listening. Thank you, EA Zoom, for letting us share these videos. And Martha and I would love to hear what you are feeling, what maybe comes up for you when you were watching this video. So please feel free to comment below the video and to get in touch with Martha and me via email. You find our email address also below the video. So we would be happy to hear from you.
Yes. Thank you. See you all very soon.